Good afternoon. I'm Logan Smith.
I'm Kellyanna Nooks, and we welcome you to our class's magazine about self-love.
Throughout the semester, students in this television production class have shown their triumphs and victories through their own stories and through others that they know.
From unique experiences to real-world struggles, these narratives each tell powerful stories of resilience, personal growth, and overcoming challenges.
Our first overcomer is our fellow classmate, Rocco Ferroni.
Rocco guides us through his testimony, sharing how he coped with his best friend's suicide.
Life is fragile. Our lives are here one moment, then gone the next moment. You can get one phone call, one diagnosis, one accident, and it will remind you of that moment. And the Bible reminds us that our lives are like mist. They appear, then they vanish. We plan, we assume we have time, we push things off for later, but the truth is that later is not promised to you.
Adam Furlong was my closest friend. Adam lived just 30 seconds away from me down the street. So we'd walk home every day after school, whether it was elementary school or high school. We'd always just take our time walking home and just enjoying each other's presence. And he really understood the things that I would go through, the things I was going through. He helped me through a bunch of breakups. He was really he was there when I was at my lowest. He understood the things I was going through and always tried to not necessarily distract me, but he would refocus me on other things, whether it was video games, hanging out, schoolwork. I remember he always showed me his guitar that he would play. He always sent me videos of him singing, of him playing the guitar. And he absolutely loved music. I always told him that we were going to make a movie one day together. He would score it, I would shoot it, and we would make something beautiful together. But Adam Furlong was really my best friend, my closest friend, and he just meant so much to me. I could go to him for anything.
Did you record?
I didn't yet. I actually want to go over to the bigger one just for a better view. I'm up.
Count it.
Count it.
Count it. At Woodland. I remember one night at a grad party, we had spent the whole night doing flips into the pool, just doing tricks, just hanging out, just like we used to when we were little. We'd always go to this pool, Haddon Glen, right up the road, and just literally spend all day there during the summers, doing whatever we could to just stay out of the house. But I remember that night he came up to me and asked if he wanted to play Smash Bros. I told him no. I wanted to go to sleep and I had worked early the next morning and just wanted to chill. He had this look of sadness, of loneliness on his face, a look of not wanting to go home. That was the last time I saw Adam Furlong. He took his life a week later. He jumped off a bridge and he was brain dead, and they pulled him off the plug and pronounced him dead not long after. Just the first couple of weeks, I just pushed it down. I focused on football. I was basically starting a new life, going off to college, leaving the town that I've been in for 18 years. Just trying to really I don't know. I just couldn't face it. I was just in disbelief, just didn't understand what was going on, what was happening. And then as those months progressed, it just gradually got worse and worse. Started getting into drugs and alcohol, and just running from it. Didn't really face it.
I've known Rocco since high school, freshman year. I remember the days we used to sit on the sideline and wish that we can get into the football game to play on varsity. Started us doing little Bible studies, one in my living room, another one at Barnes & Nobles. And I believe that God just started to do a work in Rocco's heart that encouraged Rocco to want to be a part of the church that I went to.
I'm gonna come early. I'm gonna set up, I'm gonna serve, I'm gonna hold a sign. I'm gonna be a welcoming space for somebody to encounter the gospel of Jesus. God, thank you for every yes. that has been spoken in this circle. And for all the ones who are not in this circle, God, we thank you for the faithfulness of this house. And we thank you, God, that you're doing a new thing in this church in this season. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to say all in for the one. All right? You ready? All right, everybody ready? Yeah. Let's go. 1, 2, 3.
I'm doing things I never thought I'd do before. Just a couple weeks ago, I went on a mission trip to Puerto Rico to go spread the gospel and talk to other people that were lost just like me. I shared my story with them, told them the pain and the darkness that I'd been through, and really just tried to connect with their heart. God has saved me, and He put me in such a beautiful place. He's allowed me to really fully blossom into the human that He's wanted me to become. He saved me from such a dark pit, and really brought me to life and brought me to doing things that I love.
Based upon your profession of faith and your belief in the Lord Jesus Christ, we baptize you in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Let's go!
Jesus Christ, my Savior, has helped me heal. I used to be so like, oh, Jesus can't help me. Jesus can't do this for me. Growing up in a Catholic family, I knew who Jesus was. I knew that He died for our sins, but I didn't know what dying for sins meant. But as I was getting saved, as I was getting healed, I started to realize that like, Jesus is called the Prince of Peace for a reason. My head was so full of dark, negative things, and Jesus took it and He just instantly, He brought me back to life, really. He saved me. There's still times where I was sad, still times I was still like upset, did not understand what was going on, but the peace that Jesus brought to me helped me understand that I can heal from this and that I can help others from it as well. I miss Adam every day, but the experience that I went through, that darkness, it allowed me to connect with people. It allowed me to share my story. It allowed me to create. It allowed me to just really see people for who they are and allow them and help them with the things that they struggle with.
A complex situation that Rocco was able to climb out of and become the faithful man he is today.
A very inspirational story. Now we hear from Rocco's grandfather, whose journey with artificial intelligence has become a powerful example of lifelong learning.
I'm a little worried for folks in your position. The end of everything as we know it. It's not going away. It's a force that we're all going to have to reckon with in the near future. It is, without question, going to be an integral part of your career and your success in your careers. The majority of my career was spent in the computer industry. The first 18 or 20 years I was a sales rep, selling large-scale mainframe computer components and high-end mini-computer systems. Mostly to the commercial marketplace, some financial, some large banks. Back in those days, computer systems were extremely expensive, in the many millions of dollars, some of them. But they were only sold to the largest companies. Small companies could not afford computers back in those days. I did that for a number of different companies. I was very successful at it. I got lucky, I guess. But at towards the end of my sales career, I kind of had an urge to do something on my own. So I had an opportunity working with Linda to start a computer software development company. Towards the end of it, we got into creating digital images for public safety organizations was our primary customer base. And we had an opportunity to look at facial recognition in the early stages of that technology. We purchased some software to do that from a very large Japanese corporation. Towards the end of our time at Dynamic Imaging, to developing our own facial recognition technology. But we did have an opportunity to take a look at machine learning in its early days. What is now known as AI, back in those days was just called machine learning. I, like everyone else, I'm on the fence as to what the current state of artificial intelligence is. And you can go down probably two different paths. It's either going to be a panacea, which is going to solve lots of mankind's problems like health issues and climate issues and some of the more complex problems that we can't help solve in our. The other is that it's going to be the end of everything as we know it, the point where machines become super intelligent. And by super intelligent, I mean that they are more intelligent than humans in all domains. That is what's called artificial superintelligence. And the predictions kind of go off the rails at that point. Some people say it could be the beginning of the end of society as we know it. And others think that it could be the beginning of what could be just a wonderful environment to live in. I'm kind of glad I'm not starting out my career right now. So I'm a little worried for folks in your position because it does, with things like agentic AI, it does have the ability to master skills that have up to this point only been in the hands of human beings. The machines now are known to be better at certain things. In the medical field, for example, it's common knowledge that machines can read X-rays better than human doctors can. In the technical realm, machines are better at writing programs or writing code now than human coders. The best advice that I can gather from the research that I've done into AI is to get engaged now before you try and go out into the work world. Get engaged on a regular basis with AI. Use it for what you think it is that you may want to do in your career, but use it aggressively. Don't just use it for simple tasks. No one knows what the future of AI is going to bring for us. I can see it in the work that I do, and my partner's work, who is way more advanced in AI than I am. It's becoming frighteningly good at what it does. So it's not going away. It's a force that we're all going to have to reckon with in the near future.
He has challenged himself, adapted to a changing world, and shown that experience leads to growth.
Our next story highlights another powerful example of perseverance following Damien, who isn't just any ordinary runner, as Dezola, diagnosed with prediabetes, tells his story behind never exercising in his life to running marathons.
Hi, I'm Damien Dezola. I'm going to be going over my
history with running, my relationship with it, and how I'm trying to train for a marathon later this year. So my experience with running started out when I was in middle school, when I first joined the cross-country club at my middle school. It was mostly to just hang out with my friends. My main friend group, like most of them, joined the cross-country club, and once I joined, the rest of them joined too. So it really just kind of turned into a social club for the rest of us to hang out and play on our phones after school and just talk about stuff and joke around and everything. And then, you know, right after, we would just exhaust ourselves like crazy. When I was younger, I wasn't really a particularly athletic person. I was shorter than everyone. I didn't really have my growth spurt until later in high school. So I was shorter than everyone, less athletic than everyone, and I never really saw myself as a competitive or athletic person. I never really took it seriously. I never really took any of the practices seriously. I didn't really try that hard, and I remember my mom mentioning to me once that she noticed that right before a meet started, right before the race even started, like 10 seconds before the race started, I was still talking to my friends before I even got to the start line. And then I'd hear them start the countdown, and I would run over to the start line and just like get ready, no warm up, nothing like that. And I would just like take off, but I was one of the slowest fuckers. Oh. When I got into college, I got a little bit more serious about it. You know, you get older, you start feeling you feel less spry than you used to. And you start kind of being more conscious about what you're eating and what you're doing. My body image was terrible. I was eating poorly. I felt like I looked fat and I looked gross, and I just felt like sitting in my chair constantly just made me feel like sick. And I just didn't like myself for who I was. I was really awakened when I got the diagnosis of prediabetes from my doctor. It was right after I finished college. I went to my doctor in Washington, D.C., and they took my blood, and they told me that my A1C was abnormally high, and I'm like, oh my. And they're like, you don't have diabetes, but this is like a big precursor, and you could have diabetes one day if you keep on this track. And that really that scared me like crazy. It really got to me, and all these different mental factors just kind of fell on top of each other into this one realization that I just am not taking care of myself. I started starving myself. I wouldn't eat food. I would track all the sugars in every single piece of food that I was eating. I noticed that my friend Sean, he started running. He told me about how he was running, and he would run all the time, and how it made him feel good. It made him feel better in himself, and he was like doing it to lose weight and everything. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I actually talked to my doctor about it. He said, yeah, running is a great way to lower your blood sugar. Yeah, so the time finally came. We went to San Francisco, me and my good friend Sean, and I just went for it. And my main goal was don't stop running, ever. But then after the race, I came home, and my ankle was pretty badly sprained. I thought it was just an aftershock of the run, and that I never run that far before at such intensity. I thought it was just like me being tired. But then I had to take a break from running for 2 months because my ankle just hurt so much, and it really it killed my mental health. So I'm pushing. I'm working hard again. This past month has been a real big spike for me. I've been running pretty consistently recently with this great weather. Yeah, my headspace is back in it. I think I can do this again. I've been trying to track my calories again, track my sugar again. I got from my doctor that I still have pre-diabetes, but it's the same where it was. So it's not getting worse. I think I'm ready. I think my mindset is back, and I think I'm ready to push through again. I'm making sure though, every single time I feel anything in my ankle, in my hips, in my legs, anything like that, I stop. I stop immediately, rest up, take a couple of days off. Don't force myself. Forcing myself is what kills me, and that's what I've learned. With that great shock of the pre-diabetes diagnosis, I think I really got into a place where I feel good about my body. I think I feel good about my mindset. I feel good about the capacity for me to do things and create things again. So yeah, that's my experience.
Touching story from Damien, and we wish him the best of luck in his next race.
Moving on to a story that proves things don't always go as expected, as Steven was an athlete who decided to become a photographer on the field rather than a player.
I'm Steven Wolczynski. I'm graduating this year, May 2026. I major in sports communication and media. I started playing sports as early as I can remember, probably 4 years old. Soccer was the first sport I played, followed by basketball. So a lot of my friends played basketball at our local rec league at the local high school. I decided to join. Thought it was fun, and it was just a time for me to hang out with my friends. I already enjoyed playing soccer. I figured I enjoyed playing basketball too. When I was in high school, I was pretty small, but I always had that Steph Curry mentality, my coach would say. I was super short, not like I am now. I was about a foot shorter in high school than I am now. And my coach saw something in me for some reason. I was a freshman coming in with not a lot of skill, but he immediately let me practice with the varsity guys, which I thought it was super beneficial to be able to play with the varsity guys, having been so short and so inexperienced, that it ended up allowing me to get extremely better, and I ended up playing varsity my sophomore year, coming off the bench as like a 6th, 7th man. And then my junior year, I started for the first time, and we weren't that good realistically, but I was the shooter for the team. I was the guy that sat on the 3-point line. I was the guy that they drew plays for inbounds to get a quick three, a quick bucket if we needed it. And I was just their go-to guy at one point, and I thought I could continue that. So our team wasn't the greatest in high school. We didn't win a ton of games. We didn't play that great of competition. And I was kind of looking around at the schools I wanted to go to. I wanted to go to a lot of bigger schools, which didn't really end up happening. But the balance between academics and athletics was something that I really had to make a choice about. And I wanted to go into a field where I wanted to be more involved, and I wanted to do things outside of class. And as a student athlete, that's something that's extremely hard to balance. I feel like you're always at practice, you're always at a game, you're super involved with the team, and there's not a lot of time outside of that, which is something I had to consider when I was looking at schools to go to, and whether or not I wanted to continue the athletic career along with the academic career. So it was really something that I had to prioritize, and I think I wanted to prioritize furthering my career, knowing that I wasn't gonna make it all the way to the NBA or all the way to a higher level in the end. When I was shopping around or looking around for different colleges to go to, I was looking at programs, basketball programs, athletics programs. I was emailing coaches, and we were reviewing footage with my coach back in high school, and we had some real conversations, I should say. And those real conversations consisted of, is this something that you want to grind towards? Is this something you want to dedicate a lot of time towards? And it's just something that I couldn't. I see the environments of some of these schools, some of these teams, and I think it's amazing. I think the environment's amazing. But now that I'm a videographer and photographer, I still get to be around the environment in a different way. Of course I'm not playing, of course I miss playing, but now that I get to capture the moments that these guys are having on the court, through video, through photo, I think it's just as cool. So I had never thought of videography. I honestly never thought of anything in college except for sports. So when I was looking at colleges to go to, looking at programs, I saw sports communication. I had no idea what it was, but I said, oh, sports, that's something that I've always been interested in. That's something that I've always wanted to do. Maybe I could do that as my education. And so when I got into college and I started studying sports communication, I realized that there's a bunch of different alleyways, a bunch of different aspects that you could do in sports, whether that's PR, journalism, videography, live production. And I was kind of exploring all of those realms. I was writing, I was doing live productions, but as soon as I picked up the camera, as soon as I started posting on social media, I realized that I can impact a lot more people doing videography and photo. A lot of people resonate with that. So I figured that was a good alleyway to go down to, and I haven't stopped since. Going into college, like I said, I really had no idea what I wanted to do. I just thought sports would be a good path, a good name to go down. And now that I'm in videography and photography, I've met so many good people. I've met my best friends pretty much that I'll have for life now. The community is something that's really strong in videography. There's a ton of people that want to help. There's a ton of people that want to be involved. And there's so many avenues, so many companies that want to work with you. People that just want to make you better, and you want to make other people better. It's really rewarding being a videographer because of that aspect of people constantly lifting you up. Nobody tears you down in this industry. It's all about producing good content and helping other people out, which is nice.
Steven's story shows that switching paths might not always be a bad thing and can lead to finding a new passion.
Our next story comes from John Edgar, an actor chasing his dreams on Broadway while living in New York City, but he faces the daily struggle of having type 1 diabetes.
Hi, I'm John Ecker. I'm 19 and I go to NYU Tisch studying theater. Obviously, in theater, I act, but I'm also in playwright studio, so it's a little bit of writing, a little bit of directing, kind of all over in the theater, art, entertainment field. Got a lot of connections, a lot of opportunities, and I really love it. I love city life. You know, I love being able to go out, see people every day, always in some kind of show, seeing shows. It's great. Ever since I was a kid, loved theater, obviously, right? It's something that really brings me a lot of joy. Middle school is when I really fell in love with it. You know, I think it's really just kind of the camaraderie, I guess, of it, you know, like working with like the same group of people on this, like, you know, show for so long and then seeing it all come together. That's really great. So I was diagnosed for the first time in 6th grade, and, you know, in the moment, kind of felt like being sick any other time. Obviously, diabetes wasn't on my mind at all, but my mom, you know, usually suspects the worst and was instantly panicking and like, oh, you've got diabetes. I'm like, there's no way. So, I mean, we end up going to the hospital because it was a bit, right? Got tested and turns out, yeah, my pancreas just stopped working. I mean, obviously, love my mom. She's been with me my whole life, but no, definitely she's been my number one supporter. And, you know, obviously from first suggesting I have diabetes, getting me tested, and, you know, helping me adjust through the whole kind of process, learning to live with it. As for reactions to other people, I mean, shocked like I was, you know, like that's not something you just expect to happen. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, you know, in the moment. And adjustment, it was a lot at first, you know, managing to like track, you know, what I'm eating, how much insulin to put in, using the pump and everything. And definitely was kind of hard at first, you know, going from being able to like not worry about those things, not worry like what I'm eating, not worry how much I'm exercising, you know, and how that all fits in together. But, you know, over time, I think it's definitely gotten better, and I've learned to accept it as part of my life. So obviously I have, you know, Starburst on me at all times. That's a pretty easy to measure kind of quick dose of carbs. And, you know, honestly, in between scenes, like really it's, you know, you're up there, you sweat a lot. It's hot on the stage too. So in between scenes, I'm just making sure I'm getting my sugar in, my water in, insulin, everything, you know, so I'm always ready to go. And there's been, you know, times where it all kind of fell apart. You know, I either get super low or super high and throw up, really. It's just, but yeah, definitely recovery too is a big part of it. Like, I got to know how to, you know, still be able to perform in those situations. This was probably, it was my junior year, backstage, obviously refueling a little bit between scenes, and my sugars just went through the freaking roof, and got super nauseous, throwing up everywhere, completely like, you know, out of commission. And yeah, that's just, I think, probably the clearest example of diabetes really, you know, impacting my like work and activities.
And did you go back out there after?
Of course, I'm a dog, but you know, took me a minute for sure. Took me a minute to recover from that. I think I'm already at a point where I can definitely manage it. I know how to manage it, and I've had it long enough that it's, you know, been a part of my life for some time now. And I think I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Obviously, it's an inconvenience. Obviously, it's going to be a challenge, but I think it's not one I can't overcome. Yeah, as I said earlier, it's I got to watch what I eat, you know, and I got to watch when I eat it. And it's a certain consciousness that kind of becomes exhausting, and I don't think people realize that as much. Normal people usually can expect to get like, you know, at least decent sleep, right? But with me, you know, sugars and all, I got to kind of watch, you know, make sure I'm not overdoing it, having the right amount and everything.
How do you keep such a positive attitude, even with such a hindrance to your life, especially in what you want to do in the future?
Just a pretty positive guy. I like being happy, you know, and I think being down about things I can't control, you know, brings me no kind of benefit. That's why I surround myself with, you know, the best people I know. Obviously, you're one of my best friends, known you forever. You know, you've seen me struggle. We've been there, good times, bad times, right? Chase your dreams. If you have something you want to do, if you have something you really, you know, like care about. Don't let anything stop you from pursuing that. Jump over whatever hoops, hurdles you need to do to get there, but don't stop chasing your dreams. If you got to take one thing from this interview, that's, just work through adversity, really.
An actor living life to the fullest every way possible. The hard work and dedication have paid off early in his acting career. Mental health and self-love aren't talked about enough. These kinds of topics are so important in everyone's lives, no matter our differences with each other.
I couldn't agree more, Logan. That will do it for The Overcomers. Thank you for watching.
I think they said it ended up